Because how do you convince the youngest generations to spend 12 hours in these mountains cutting all those boughs of grapes, usually with 47 Celsius temperatures? We want our weather back. Thank you. Too cold today. Too cold. It's usually 47 the whole summer and -5 the whole winter. That's what makes the wine quality so good here in the north. Too cold, St. Peter. Too cold. And then 3 hours stopping the tanks at night. Yes, because we spent 12 hours cutting grapes. Then around 7, 8 in the evening, 3 hours in the tanks and no one steps outside to eat, to drink, or to use the bathroom, stopping at the same pace at the same time. This Monday to Sunday, and then we sleep in October. Did you learn today why it's still so important to do the best spinning class / spot treatment of the year in those tanks? No? So basically, when we use our feet, we gently squeeze the grape, the seed gets out, floats in the top, doesn't give back the juice. When we use machines, the machines crush the grapes, crush the seeds, and that gives the seed the juice of the grapes. This is so important that there's some families in the douro like Titan, of Douro, and Espinheiros that even their whites and red they do with the stomping, not just their Porto wines. Also, every time that is a vintage portal, even when you are a big company, a big winery, always with the stomping. Because you probably learned this today already, when it's for vintage portals, it's approved in a blind tasting at the Institute, and it did 9 yeses out of 10 in over 25,000 samples for a wine to be a vintage. So no one wants to compromise the sample that goes for that precious blind tasting with the bitterness of the sea. So if a big company can't manage to do all those thousands of liters with the stopping, they do only their liters that they believe it's for a vintage portal. Because this particular ruby is the kind of ruby that we start to plant from the start in altitude, that's why we have the stems, and specific grapes. You notice the names of the grapes in your boards, right? The ones for the ruby are different than the ones for the tawny for a reason. Because grapes like Barroca, for example, have potential for full body wines, to improve wines in the bowl. So for example, vintage pours, for example. So it's a whole planning, and then you need 9 yeses out of 10 for your wine to be approved as a vintage out of over 25,000 samples sometimes. And that's why it's so important to do that wonderful spinning class, everyone stopping at the same pace, at the same time. But when you see 85-year-olds doing it all happy, of course you're not going to be the first one to complain about your legs. No, they can do it. You have to be like, okay, if they can, I'm going to be 80 and still do it. You want to live a long, happy life, working in agriculture. So everyone, speaking of Porto wines, do you know why it's called Porto wine? Because precisely for many centuries, the wine used to go through the Douro River all the way to Porto, and even nowadays Gaia is still a very important center for bottling and exportation for most of the big Porto wine companies. And the wine used to go on the boats like that precious one outside that has a really cute name. I swear it's really cute because it's based on ass in Portuguese. Yes, that's why it starts with an R, because ass is rabo in Portuguese. And it's a very harsh word, but really cute. Looks like I'm spitting, but this is the actual name of the boat. Rabelo. I know, right? Rabelo. Can you see that? Rabelo. Yes. We rolled our cars very hard. So, the Rabelo boats used to take the pipas, the cute small ones, with the Tony Porto all the way to Porto, and that's why it's called Porto wines. Although grapes grow actually here from the warm border with Spain, all Porto wine region. But unfortunately, we've been Porto wine produced for many centuries by now, but our river wasn't navigable until the 90s. Yes, no, 1800s, 90s, 1900s, 90s. Yes, which can be a very slow country sometimes. So basically, this means a river full of rocks, wood barrels, and wood boats. They had to be brave, everyone, to take the wine to Gaia, and they were indeed. And the producers were very aware of this fact, of course. So what did they used to do? The pipas would only go to half capacity, because that way, if a rabelo crushed into a rock, the pipas float, and the Porto wine would get lost in the bottom of our Douro River. So you saw all those cute pipas right next to your tasting, those round bellies, those horror faces. If they could talk what they've been through, poor pipas. because those are the oldest ones we own. All the other one is 1959. Those pipas were rolled in there in 1959. Most of them already with town in Porto, and that's why they have those round, beautiful bellies, because they had a whole century or longer drinking all the time. And that's why, unfortunately, we only made 600 balls of our 50 years. Yes, all those round bellies only gave us 600 balls, when technically each one can take 600 liters. In the very beginning, then we got 600 balls total. So now you understand the round bellies. And also there's the angel share. Or at least we like to blame the angels. Still, 600 half a liter balls, it's too, yeah, that's why the families do wait 100 years sometimes for the flavor, but this is the wine then. This is the wine. That's the thing about ours. And that's why here we only store whites and rubies, because townies, we wish we had 71,000 liters of the townie with the angels and the wood still in all the land. So here we store whites and rubies, and this is just to store wine. Meaning we don't do the aging process here, fermentation process here, no. And that's why inside each tank is glass tiles, okay? Glass tiles, not compromise the quality, because these tanks already have the final products, meaning the wine has the time in the wood. Our winemaker prepares the blends. We send the samples for the Institute of Portugal Wines to prove. So as we get the yes from the Institute, we're going to take the wine out here for the